Hello, my name is Arjulka. I'm the Oklahoma Deca State President, and welcome to the bonus content for the President's FLC workshop.
My name is Gavin Cooper. I am the BPA state president for this year, and we are super excited to show you this bonus content. Hopefully, you guys all saw our presentation at FLC, and if you didn't like it, I'm sorry, but you're here. So let's
Good
show you
work.
some bonus content and let's get this on the road.
Let's do it.
All right. So some of these things, if you saw our presentation at FLC, you already saw these things. But this is what you're supposed to do as a president. Do you do these things? I don't know, but this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make agendas. You're supposed to coordinate meetings. You're supposed to call meetings to order. You're supposed to check progress. You're supposed to plan events. You're supposed to represent. You're supposed to remind your officers about meetings. As a president, sometimes you need to remind yourself about meetings because I've missed like a lot of meetings.
Oh,
You're
wow.
supposed to schedule. You're supposed to delegate. You're supposed to delegate tasks. You're supposed to assist your advisor, and you're supposed to volunteer because volunteering is great for everyone.
Indeed.
All right. So first off, how to create an agenda. So all an agenda is kind of a timeline of what you want to cover in that meeting. So you write this so that you, as a president, know how your meeting's going and you're staying on time, on task. So say you only have 30 minutes slotted for that meeting and you got a lot of content to cover. You need to make sure that you're not taking too much time on any given subject. It's also a good thing to give to your members so that they know what's happening in the meeting and if they act like what they need to pay attention to, basically. But that's pretty much what an agenda is. We covered a lot of it in our FOC presentation. So if you were there, you saw that.
Yeah, like Gavin said, I mean, the agenda stuff we covered in the previous meeting at FLC. But if you did want like an example or more like in-depth, we do have the videos online on the either Oklahoma BPA or Oklahoma DECA website. So definitely check that out. Shameless little plug, but go check that out if you need to. Um, so next thing we want to talk about is calling a meeting into order. So as president, you have the responsibility of, facilitating every meeting and getting a meeting started and ended. And so calling a meeting into order is very ceremonial. It's very important as a chapter president. It, gets everyone's attention when you call a meeting into order. It gets everyone, focused in on what you're about to say and to get the meeting started. Furthermore, just for note-taking purposes, it helps the secretary or the vice president of leadership for DECA and BPA in when exactly the meeting starts. And when you put down the gavel, that's when everyone knows, okay, the meeting has officially started.
Down to business.
Business. And so the meeting has started, you get done with your meeting, and now what? Okay, so a bunch of tasks. And now as chapter president, you're gonna have a lot of these tasks. I mean, tasks from your advisors, tasks for different events you have planned, different meetings, for POs, for
Random people
student
that show up
tour.
just want you to do stuff.
Just they want. I mean, you're the president. You're the bobblehead. You're the figurehead of this entire organization. Like, people are gonna want you to do stuff. And the truth is that as chapter president, with all your tasks, with all of your duties, there's no way you can do everything yourself. And that is why it is so important to delegate tasks to other members, to other chapter officers, to make sure that everyone can feel like they're doing something and to get a little bit of weight off your shoulder and to get tasks done more efficiently. And beyond just getting stuff done more efficiently, it's also a sense of when you give tasks to people, it makes them feel important. It makes them feel valued. So, for example, let's say we're having a chapter meeting, and we're setting up and for a chapter meeting that's in an hour. And so, let's say as chapter president, there's a set of responsibilities that we need to get done. Let's say we need to pick up the pizza, we need to set up the music, we need to make the check-in sheet, we need to make the decorations. So instead of doing it all by yourself, it really is best to, assign someone else, the vice president of finance, to go set up the music, get the vice president of hospitality to go get the pizza, while everyone else can kind of fit into roles that they are good at and that they can do. And that way everyone feels, like they have a responsibility. They have a sense of purpose on the chapter officer team, and that really is something that helps the chapter unity and the team morale.
Yes. Very important. All right, checking progress. So once you delegate those tasks, you as a president, you're having to check up on those tasks that you delegated. So say you got your officer team, you got a 5-person officer team, and you delegate 5 tasks to those officers. Well, if they all have a deadline on whatever day, you need to be slowly checking in on those to make sure that they're actually getting done, because someone could have forgot or someone's lost and they don't really want to, since you assigned it to them, they don't want to reach out to you and say that they're having a problem because they may be scared of you. That's a problem I have a lot. I don't know. I don't think I'm that scary, but
I think
other
it's your
people,
face, Gavin.
it's a face, yeah. But as a president, you need to check in on those people and to make sure that they're doing okay. I blow up my officers' phones, It's like, hey, are you getting this done? Please get this done. I'm trying to be as nice as possible, but at the end of the day, we got to get it done.
Gotta get done.
That's kind of what it is. It's just a friendly reminder to, hey, do you remember this? But try not to be too aggressive with it. Just making sure they're getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so next thing is just scheduling events. So this is something that kind of varies school by school. But usually as chapter president, you are responsible of, getting meetings and events scheduled. So that includes if you go to a bigger school, that what that means is going into the school calendar and looking at, okay, what dates and what times are available. And that's usually online. And kind of seeing, okay, working with your advisor, when can we have this meeting? When can we have this event? Is the location open at the time? Is the basketball are the basketball players, having practice at that time in a gym when we're trying to set up an event? Like you have to look at this sort of things and kind of work around that, schedule events. And so at bigger schools, and I'm speaking from the point of view of a bigger school, you can fill out like an activity booking form that books the time and place for that event and kind of puts it into the school calendar to make sure that no one else can reserve that date, time, and place for another event. It's sort of the thing of it's on a case by case basis. So wherever you go to school, work with your advisor, schedule events, schedule meetings, and just be on top of things. So if you have a meeting that you want to have, let's say initiation in October, then you're gonna start looking in August even, like maybe even late July, and get that event scheduled. Therefore, no other organization, no other thing can take precedence over that meeting, and you can get that booked and ready to go. And this is really just important for, note taking and timekeeping and making sure everything is proper and ready to go.
Yes. It's also good to have your dates be the same. So say you have the second Tuesday of each month, in
Mhm.
the library or in the gym. If you can set up a kind of a rotation that's the same every month, it's a whole lot easier to plan those events. Um, Another thing you do as president is you're representing your chapter. So being the president, you're the face of your chapter. You are your chapter. So you constantly have to be repping your chapter. And that goes for social media on Instagram. You got to be professional when you post because that all reflects to your chapter. Whenever you're out, if you have a lot of school events, at my school, we have I can't even think of what it's called, but they kind of nominate people from each group, from each organization, and they are voted on for it's Mr. and Miss NRC is what it is. So BPA is able to nominate someone from their chapter, and they run in that election. So you always have to be ready to represent your chapter because if anyone needs to be the face, the president is the first person to go out there because that's just what they do. So you always need to be professional, always need to be willing to talk to whoever you need to talk to and know what you're talking about when you go to talk to those people.
Definitely. And then once you get that, event scheduled, really the next thing is to start planning the event. So I mean, gosh, depending on the event, there's so many things that go into planning events. But I would say some things that you need to have on your checklist is to look at what needs to be bought for the event from a store or what needs to be borrowed or whatnot, and you need to fill out a purchase order for your school, and that way you can get those items beforehand and get a schedule to pick it up from the store and use school funds to get that.
Mhm.
And that way, you can kind of go forward saying, okay, we have the items, and now what exactly do we need set up at the event? Let's say you're selling cookies at the football game, for example. And so let's say the Deca chapter is selling cookies at the football game. So what we need to set up is a table, a few chairs, have someone that is able to carry the cookies in their car from the school to the football stadium, just stuff like that. You need to make sure that every single part, every single aspect of the event is planned or has a plan to it, and then assign and delegate those tasks to different people, different members, different officers, and make sure they know what they're doing ahead of time. And this kind of all ties into each other because, again, it's the kind of same thing. Like once you delegate those tasks, you need to make sure you check in on them, like Gavin said, make sure they're doing what they're doing, make sure that, the table is being brought out, make sure that the graphic is being made. Okay, hey, we're selling cookies at the football game. Just little things like that. Make sure the event is planned out a few weeks in advance and that the ball is rolling and that everything is ready to go by the time of the event.
All right. So another thing that you do as your president is you're constantly assisting your advisor. So your advisor does the most out of your entire chapter because they are your chapter. And it's your job as the president or any other officer is to assist your advisor because they have so much on their plate with not only just BPA or DECA, but some of those advisors, they teach whole classes. They got a 7 hour a day schedule. So they're constantly grading stuff, creating plans, they got all this stuff. So maybe BPA and DECA is like the last thing on their list. So you need to be able to step in and say, hey, what do I need to do to make your life easier? And usually a lot of that stuff is, hey, can you count this money up and just sign how much money there is? Or can you run this down there to the financial office? Or can you go print a copy of this? Just little things like that, but you make their life so much easier because it's just little things that they don't even have to worry about now because you're getting it done. Or do you have anything to add on to that?
Um, I mean, yeah, just like what Gavin said, make sure that you're assisting your advisor because at the end of the day, I mean, they work the hardest. And as chapter president, and really any chapter officer, you need to be at the top of your game and make sure that you are helping out just beyond your role and showing humility in who you are and just helping in all facets.
Yes.
Um, but I think that's all we got today for the bonus content. I hope you enjoyed. And I mean, if you haven't checked out yet, check out our original presentation
Yes.
that we have at FLC. If you weren't able to attend that in person, we have it online. So go check it out on the website. But my name is Arav Joka, and it's been amazing having you guys watch us today.
Yes. All right. My name is Gavin Cooper, and I really appreciated you guys, watching us. We enjoyed presenting it, and we hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you guys, and have a great rest of your days.